Hello, and welcome to A Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast. We just finished Chapter 18. Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Pronks are proud to... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I got carried away on that one. I mean, once you start saying that, you just automatically need to go through the whole
Your mind
spiel.
fills in the blanks.
Exactly. The overall artwork looks like a rather friendly wolf, to be perfectly honest. Even though I'm pretty confident this is Sirius Black and stuff along those lines. He looks like a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's a very good boy.
He's the best boy.
He really is.
As we have our Kita Kanji wagging his tail like a good boy.
Yeah,
A good boy.
Yeah. We, of course, throughout the course of this chapter, get the full-on explanation of the Marauders and stuff. A little bit of a thing that is completely skipped out on in the actual movie, basically. They kind of skimp over, like, the introduction, the different nicknames and stuff along those lines, and the connection.
Well, no, that's because we were too busy having Gary Oldman and Alan Rickman throwing memorable lines.
Why don't you go play with your chemistry sets? Yeah.
I did my waiting 12 years
How the
of
fuck
it.
does Sirius know what chemistry is?
To be fair, he intentionally involved himself in some muggle shit just to piss his parents off.
That's
So
true.
he probably knows exactly what chemistry is.
If nothing else, he
Billy,
probably would have had
Please tell me, what classes did you take in Muggle school?
She probably was like, chemistry?
To be fair, she would have got... I don't think chemistry would have been in the elementary school thing, since we would have had normal muggle classes up until about 11th grade, age 11,
but
which would have
Petunia,
been...
but Petunia was in the public education. She wasn't a witch, so it's very possible that depending on what time Sirius was like, I need to know what the Muggles learn.
So I can fuck with my parents.
And then she was just like, well, my sister's taking chemistry right now.
Other thought process behind that is that, like the twins, Sirius Black could have had the mindset of learning outside sources for mischief.
Oh, yeah, because they learned how to pick a lock.
Could you imagine if he figured out how to make a stink bomb without necessarily needing to use magic and stuff?
Oh, God.
It'd be easier to get rid of, mind you, with magic, but still.
Be like, I'm taking care of you. I'm taking away your wand. You can't be trusted. But not make stink bombs. We know how to do it the Muggle way.
But, yeah, we kind of start off with, like, an explanation about scabbers and stuff, and Ron is just not having any of it, basically. And I do love that Hermione and Lupin end up basically having a casual conversation about why or why not and stuff along those lines. Well, there was multiple witnesses, and it's just like, man. Honestly, though, I feel like they could have poked a heck of a lot more holes, basically. I made a comment about the fact the rat is acting very panicky for just a regular creature and stuff. And Brandy mentioned there's a cat in the room.
No, Kimmy mentioned it.
Oh, Kimmy mentioned it. And I was just sort of like, that's a fair point and everything, but at the same time, more often than not, it was never this panicky with the rat and the cat in his presence before. He's freaking out on a whole different freaking level.
Yeah.
Another little thing that we pointed out is that, like, Animagus, Animagi or whatever, however the pronunciation technically works, is, like, you gotta be registered for it, and it's just sort of like Sirius Black could have looked her dead in the eye, transformed into a dog, and transformed back, and be like, am I in the records? And went back to staring at, like, the rat, basically.
Right.
Like, you can very easily shut that argument down, not even...
And they can't even argue that, like, oh, maybe Lupin transformed you to trick us. Oh, my wand's in my pocket, remember? We're unarmed.
Yeah, we're unarmed.
Yeah.
And the other tidbit of fun information is, if, I don't think it's considered canon, but Hogwarts Mystery, the phone game, actually has a character that is an illegal animagi as well. And you can become one as well in the game itself, and decide not to actually register.
Huh.
I love how Hermione's logic is, but they're not registered. Like, you think he's a criminal.
Like, people aren't going to break the law. Listen, Missy, you've broken over 100 school rules.
Yeah. I like the idea that there's 7 people that were actually on us enough to put themselves on the registry.
In the past 100 years.
And there's a lot more running around that nobody freaking knows about.
We know 4.
Yeah.
Minimum.
There's at least 4.
Sirius, James, Peter, and Rita.
Oh, and Rita,
yeah. it's wild that she has something in common with these guys.
It's wild.
Oh my gosh. I would love for someone to come from the future and just be like, Hermione, you want to talk about breaking the law because they're not registered? You break the law. You keep a human being imprisoned in a jar.
Yep.
And I would love to see the horrified look on 13-year-old Hermione's face. I would never!
But she literally does it next year.
Yep.
To be perfectly honest, Hermione has always been a rule follower, but only when it's, like, if it's ever inconvenient to be a rule follower. She has absolutely no frickin' issues whatsoever.
Would that make her lawful neutral?
I would consider it, like, neutral good, in a sense.
Okay.
Or chaotic good.
Let's say chaotic good.
Okay.
Because you never know what the fuck she's gonna do in the name of good.
To be fair, she, like, put that curse on the paper for the DA and stuff along those lines. And nobody could figure out a way to get rid of the actual, like, curse, basically.
Nah. There's, maybe one day it did.
Man.
But also, like, damn, Hermione, cold.
To be honest, I don't even know if Cho's friend actually openly admitted to what was going on willingly, because even after the fact, the damage is done. You'd think she'd be like, at least be honest about it, but she was still keeping her mouth tight-lipped all the way up to the 11th hour.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a scene where Harry was eyeballing the tea, wondering if she'd, spiked it with, Veritas serum and stuff. So it's one of those things where it's just sort of like, how willing was that confession originally to begin with?
Yeah.
Right.
Which, there's a what if function for you. What if Harry actually heard Cho out and everything, and it turned out that, their relationship basically got destroyed permanently because of something that, wasn't actually true. I mean, I don't think it'd make too much of a difference. Ginny isn't, like, a major factor for, like, the remainder of the series.
Plus,
even
Jo
if
was jealous type anyway. She was mad that Harry left her on a date to go see Hermione.
I always kind of felt that Cho wasn't really in a relationship with Harry because she, it
was more of, you're famous.
No.
You were the last person to be near Cedric.
I've always kind of felt like she was hoping for a mutual grieving process with him, basically. And
I forgot.
I think she did like him to a degree, but, like, it wasn't entirely, like, romantic for her original reasons. Because she was super salty about the fact that he ran off to go talk to Hermione and stuff along those lines with, like, the whole thing. And I love how Hermione's like, you should have told her about, like, I'm a horrible person and I'm making you do that, like, but you're not. And Hermione's like, oh, you're sweet and everything, but that's not what a woman needs to hear in this moment, dude. He really needed some dating advice. He really did. I'm kind of shocked he didn't bother serious about this whole situation. Be like, I need help. I don't understand women
Sirius
at all.
is going to be able to help him.
Dude, he was a ladies' man before he got thrown in prison. I'm sure he'd be able to give him at least a couple of pointers to keep his head above water, at least.
On a side note, imagine if there were witches who do things like, people do in America, where they want to be pen pals with people on death row or in prison and shit.
Oh, God.
And all these women are like, he's so hot, though. He's like, did he really murder people? I don't know. I wanted to be pen pals with Sirius. Do they allow you to get mail in Azkaban?
To be fair, the Minister of Magic gave him the newspaper.
Do the Dementors read the mail to make sure?
Can they read?
I don't know.
I was just making a reference to the fact that if you send mail to a jail, it's going to get screened.
I just think it's also wild that they don't have, like, a middle ground between Azkaban and
Yeah,
Free.
it's just straight up federal penitentiary. It's no
with the evil
level.
emotion monsters, basically.
Oh, no, they break your wand. It goes freedom, break your wand, jail.
But if you go to jail, you get to keep your wand intact for some reason.
Do they?
I mean, every single Lucius still has his wand after his breakout.
But there's no guarantee that it's his original wand.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee.
Because they kidnapped a bunch of wand makers.
Yeah, but it wasn't for everybody. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, they don't go into enough detail to really answer the question, but...
And it could have been a very loose Lucius's wand. It could have been somebody else's wand. that he claimed as his own. Maybe he murdered a guy for it. Who knows? And then it became his wand. The wand lore is very loose.
It's not so much loose as just doesn't go into enough detail.
Yeah.
But the thing though is that it's not the same canon. But in the movies, Lucius actually has to snap free his wand from his walking cane and stuff that he has in the actual movies. So we know for a fact it's basically the same one.
Like, why wouldn't you have it so you can just pull it out? It means you broke part of your wand.
I mean, possible.
It's very... Or it had an extension on the snake bit that you could... Still, very silly.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting way off topic of this chapter.
Yeah.
I like how Harry's like, oh, what was my dad? And Hermione's like, that's not important.
Harry's just like, this has got to be like the longest conversation Harry's ever had with anybody talking about
his parents.
Yeah, about either of his parents. So it is kind of funny,
not
like watching him getting more and more.
He was a great man, or he was great at Quidditch.
Yeah. Or you get like the picture book and stuff, which ironically enough we never actually hear about for the rest of the actual book series. It's shown in the movies a couple of times and stuff, but the books never mention the picture thing.
I thought they bring it up one more time later.
Well, you let me know when we get to it, because I doubt I'll remember, because
every time the picture book is mentioned, I'll be like, here it is.
Fair enough. We of course get Remus, like a bit of Remus's backstory. We don't really get the whole thing, just that he got bit as a kid. The whole thing with what's his face? Oh, shoot, you remember, like, what was that werewolf guy's name?
Fenrir.
Yeah, Fenrir. Doesn't get mentioned quite yet.
Wolf Greyback.
Yep.
Another another ode to ancient mythology. But yeah, we get a little bit of the actual information. One thing, another podcast I was listening to mentioned this and stuff. Of when the door opens up and everything, we know that it's Snape, especially with like hindsight and everything. But the way Remus Lupin says he's here, before reiterating and saying he works at Hogwarts, very much implies that he knows who's in the room with them at this moment, and that he's trying to explain to him that what originally happened to him was in fact not James's fault, and that he should really get the fuck over it, basically. Because he kind of goes on the record, he treats Remus like shit, basically, and it's like, I get it, he's friends with people you hate and everything, but chill the hell out. This guy's been nothing but casual with you the entire freaking time. It's been like 13 years, dude. Grow up.
Yeah, we're gonna have petty bullshit till the day we die.
To be perfectly honest, I do like that. Black's hatred of him has not dissipated. It's like the only time he looks away from the rat is when they're actually talking about him. He's like, serves him right.
Ooh, I want to see the book real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I have to admit though, Snape pops up towards the end of the chapter and everything. I'm just sort of like, mother, son of a gun. It's one of the it's wild that Snape isn't so like. You would think out of everybody in that room, Snape would want Peter, the man who was basically directly responsible for Lily's death, getting what's coming to him. But he never takes the opportunity to get back at Peter. He will trade verbal jabs with Black until the days come home. He will make all sorts of racial comments and stuff towards Remus and stuff, and even pick on the girl that's in love with Remus for no other freaking reason other than the fact that he's a petty ass piece of shit.
Maybe he felt Peter having to live 13 years as a scared rat was punishment enough.
Apparently 13 years in Azkaban wasn't enough.
12 years.
Yeah.
I did my way!
He should have
Okay,
spent 13 years and not 12.
But the overarching thought process is wild, though, is that you would have thought that he would have had no issues making Peter's life a miserable hell. You know what I mean? Or at least, you know what? Screw it. What if he is right? Kill the rat there, leave the body on the ground, and say, you're still going to frickin' Azkaban for the shit you try to pull with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's be perfectly honest. He threatened to kill Neville's Toad on a regular frickin' basis and stuff along those lines. What's one more pet?
Snape was not a good guy. He just worked for the good guys.
Yeah, and a rat is not... I mean, people are more scared of rats than they are of toads, so, like...
Man, imagine if Snape had accidentally killed Scabbers in a potions accident. Would he have turned back into a man as soon as he died? Oh, God. Then Snape would have gone to Azkaban for murder. And Sirius would have been cleared.
They would have let Sirius out. We're so sorry. However, can we make this up to you?
They're like, huh. And Dumbledore would be like, shit, my plans.
To be fair, though, if Snape actually killed Peter directly or indirectly, the story's done.
Yeah, Dumbledore would be like, fuck, what do I do now? I can't play the long game anymore.
Well, no, Dumbledore is still gonna Dumbledore. But Voldemort has no way of getting back to his physical form.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
Unless somebody else found him.
Doubtful. Every single other person that
Peter
was
the
loyal
only
to him.
Loyal servant, because he even came after everyone else.
He was only loyal because he had no other options.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Loyal.
But every other person that was out and about didn't go looking for him for 12 years.
And he went after the Death Eaters
so,
on that.
But in that case, Dumbledore could have laid all the contingency plans he wanted, but he wouldn't have needed to.
Yeah. Harry could have potentially lived to an old age, died of old age and stuff along those lines. And
everything would have been chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he would have lived the rest of existence.
Potions accident.
He would have lived the rest of his existence basically out in the middle of frickin' nowhere, desperately hoping for somebody to finally find his ass.
Right, or a unicorn to come across so you could drink its blood.
And technically, it still fulfills the prophecy too, because he's not alive.
Neither can live while the other survives. Technically speaking, like him, the other, like like outside of like the fact that the rest of his Horcruxes are running around and stuff, Dumbledore didn't seem to not want to stop going after them. So I'm guessing that eventually, if he did, he
would have found them all.
Yeah, Harry would have been able to casually go around like a good chunk of his life because he's good money wise. He could have just kept hunting them down basically until eventually they were all taken care of.
Yeah. The worst thing would have been is that Dumbledore would not have been able to keep him at the Dursleys. Because Snape had legal custody as godparent.
Sirius.
God, yeah.
Sirius. Sorry, Snape's in Azkaban now.
Which, to be perfectly honest, I mean, I don't think Harry would have necessarily complained.
No, Sirius was like, "How about when this is all cleared, you can come live with me?" Harry's like, "Say less. I'm packing now."
If this was like a freaking old school Looney Tunes cartoon, he'd be having this conversation. He'd look over at Harry. He'd look away, and we'd pan out to the starry sky, and then he'd pan back, and you'd see Harry with all of his shit under his arms.
I'm ready.
When do you want me to move in?
When it's a disaster, nobody's lived there in 30. I'll help you clean. I'm good at cleaning.
Trust me, got plenty of practice even without a wand. But yeah, I have to admit, the whole history and everything is actually pretty freaking wild. Harry, minor interruptions and stuff. Anything else anybody else wants to kind of mention? As informative as this is, outside of just reading the chapter to you and stuff, there really isn't a whole lot more for me.
I think as soon as it was like, oh, Snape stepped out of the invisibility cloak, be like, ew, get your greasy hands off of that.
Yeah.
It is wild. It's wild how much use that cloak gets during this book, to be perfectly honest. But I think this is definitely going to be one of the shorter episodes and stuff, since we're barely
and we
cracking
didn't even
20.
it was the first time that one of our short chapters had a short episode.
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen.
Usually it's the opposite problem. Long chapter, not much to say. Short chapter, too much to say. But
I guess that's what happens when you have a short chapter of just backstory.
I mean, it's not a bad chapter by any means, though. It's just, any more talking about it, we might as well just be reading the damn chapter to you.
Right. But I guess it's time to plug our shit.
Sounds like a plan.
You can find me on YouTube or FlossTube under Brandywine Stitches. You can keep up on all of my correcty progress, or on the rest of the socials at Hockeytown Candle Co.
I'm on Twitch at Cole Sanders. Coal is in the rock that people used to burn and should stop burning and everything. And I'm still making my way through Persona 3 Reloaded, and I'm enjoying it quite thoroughly. I honestly feel it's a pretty good upgrade from the original game, personally speaking.
And you can find me on social media at Luna's Creation Corner. Corner, not quarter.
Corner.
Corner.
Arr, yes. We got a pirate theme this week.
Luna's
Nobody
Creation
puts baby
Corner.
in the corner.
And I crochet and have some cool stuff. I haven't posted in a minute, but I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, when am I going to get my rainbow chocobo?
Christmas.
I can wait that
Ish.
We're holding you to that.
Christmas-ish.
Sounds good to me. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, tell us what we did wrong, tell us what we did right, favorite parts about this chapter, favorite parts from the actual movie and everything.
Any comments you guys got? Thoughts on all the backstory?
Any what-if stories that you'd like us to tackle would also be kind of amusing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Until next time, keep your wands at the ready.